people's lives. And you said, Lord have mercy, if I had to go through that, I don't know whether I could make it. Yes, you could. Amen. You can make it because you're not trusting in yourself. You're trusting in God. And so adversity comes at very, very different times in our lives. Sometimes it comes when everything seems to be going well. And all of a sudden, bam, you got something that hits you that you're not accustomed to, never thought you would go through, but it hits you nonetheless. And so after it hits you, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to forget God? Are you going to fall by the wayside? Are you going to let it take you out? Or are you going to keep on seeking after God? Job, in the 2nd chapter, 10th verse, shall we indeed accept good from God? And shall we not accept adversity? Good question. Now, you know, in Job, the 2nd chapter, and in verses 9 and 10, we look at some things that happened to Job in there. And one of the things you can always commend Job for was really giving God praise. Amen. Yeah, see, because Job is somewhat like we are. Job had to answer these questions when he was in the midst of catastrophe, when catastrophe claimed his children. When his whole estate was demolished, he had to ask that question, shall we indeed accept good from God? And shall we not accept adversity? He had to look at the same question when his wife told him to curse God and die. Now, it has to be something when you're getting that from your spouse. Somebody says sleeping with the enemy. You look for your spouse to be the one who is very supportive of you, the one who is there to take care of you and to help you when you're going through. And that's why I often tell single people, listen, don't rush into getting married, because you better make sure you got the right person. You got to make sure you got somebody that's going to stick with you in the rough times as well as the not so rough time, because there are people who are not accustomed to going through. And the first attempt of the enemy to bring catastrophe for you, they're going to jump up and leave. Amen. There are also people who don't trust God to take them through. And you want to make sure you have somebody you'll watch their life for some years. Don't let them shout in church and get you and shout out. And then you can't get them to even come back to church no more. Amen. Oh yeah, they know how to put up a good show. Like they love God, and they'll shout and run all around this place and other places. And you looking, ooh, they must be real spiritual. A shout don't make you spiritual. Dance don't make you spiritual. A life makes you spiritual. And there is something that you can see in a life that you cannot see in a dance. Lord, I done said something in here already. Lord, have mercy. That's why folk get so disheartened when they come to church and see folk dancing and shouting, and then when they walk outside the door, they see them living something else. Listen, I want you to shout. I want you to give God praise. I want you to lift him up. But after you get through lifting him up, jumping high, run around the building, I want you to live right. Amen. And living right is not living like I want you to live. Living right is living according to the word. Right. Because there are some things that people want out of you that God has not declared in his. Ask yourself the question. Do I love God only when everything is going well? Yes, Job had struggles. He struggled after his catastrophe and after his tragedy. He became angry with his friends. He did. Don't we do it? When things happen to us and we can't find our way and we look to our friends to be supportive and they don't support us, okay, let me help you. See, y'all don't ask for it first thing this morning. Let me help you. When you're going through and you need money, and the same people that you've loaned money to, you go to them and they got money, but then they say they got their money for something else. How do you feel? Then you done help them through and given your last sometime. And when it's your time to be in need, nobody can help you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got a catastrophe going on right there. You got to learn how to trust God. There are times when your friend will call you and talk your ear off. Sometimes you want to fall asleep. Amen. They're just talking so much, and truly you're not interested in what they're saying. Amen. Let me help you with something. Now, this is me. It don't have to be everybody else. But if you talk to me, and I give you instructions, or I give you what I believe God is telling me to give you, or if, the same thing has been going on over and over and over, and you're having problems in relationships and all this kind of stuff, and I say, no, you don't need that. You need to just, really seek God about it and see what God has to say. Because truly, everybody that comes up to you to be your friend is not going to be your friend. You do know that, don't you? There are some people who smile at you and really have nothing for you. And it's not that you did anything against them. They just don't like you because they just don't like you. Sometimes we get hurt in school. Our young people get hurt and despondent because people don't respond to them the way they think they should. Listen, there are going to be people all over the world as long as you live who are not going to respond to you the way you think they should. There are going to be people who love you in front of some people, and then with other people, they're against you. But you cannot let those things separate you from God. Because if you allow those things to separate you from God, what are you going to do when the other things come? Listen, he even questioned God. And sometimes we question God. We say, God, why in the world have you allowed this to happen to me? I've lived right. I've lived to please you. I've done the best I could. But yet trouble still comes. And the question comes, what do you do when trouble comes when you're saved? You keep on trusting God. You don't turn your back on God. And you make, the old people used to say, don't question God. Because God is so reverent. Don't ever question God. I've had some questions for God and expected some answers. And listen, when I questioned him, he answered me. Now, some things you will never know until you get to the other side. But there's some things you can ask God on this side that God will give you an answer to. Somebody say amen. See, a lot of folk get wrapped up in old stuff that people say. One of the things that messes us up today is the fact that we think, listen, I'm going to get this for myself. I'm number one. If I don't provide for me, if I don't do for me, who's going to do it for me? I'm going to do me. If I don't never hear that again, I'll be satisfied. Because we are some of the most selfish people that you ever want to meet. Everybody wants, I'm just going to do me. What is that? The minute that you decide you're going to do you, you're forgetting about God. It's all about what you want and what your desire is. And that's the way the world is. The world is just out for themselves. It has affected our economy because there's somebody bigger than you that's looking over everything that says, I'm going to make this decision because it's going to bring me no more money, even if it means cutting your job to save them money. It's selfishness. That's what breaks up marriages. Somebody's too selfish to be faithful. Somebody's too selfish to just stand still and hear God. It's all about them and what they want to do. And it tears up everything. And we have yet to learn that. Job questioned God. But Job had confidence in God. The conclusion of the whole matter with Job was, though he slay me, yet will I trust him. And that's what we've got to get.